The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Friday, the 23rd day of June, 2023. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, and Lindos. I'm Jamal Hartman. He's Larry Marshall Jr. and Maya Palacio will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Good morning, brother. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, you can't say too much. It's Sheriff's favorite day of the week, I would say
in the summer, first Friday of the summer.
Yes, this is true. Right. True. Yeah. One day closer to, I'm not gonna say it, but I'm thinking it. St. George's taking back the cup, but I'm not gonna say it. I didn't really say it just now. You were hearing things. But we'll leave it at that.
I won't argue with you.
Yeah. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. But carnival's done. Everybody's parted out. Hopefully the complainers are complained out. And we're strolling on. Does school finish, like public schools finish this week? Anyone know?
Either this week or definitely next week. But I don't know exactly when the last day is.
Okay.
But it's one of those ones. So yeah.
Okay, so students, hey, I know it's a break from school, but it's never a break from learning. All right. So greetings, everyone. Thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today as we welcome Dr. Amani Flood back for Ask the Doctor, brought to you by NMAC. We're discussing long COVID. I've heard a lot about long COVID. I don't understand it. So I'm looking forward to the conversation to get a better understanding of what it actually is. The daily players are things you should know. This is a good one. And, despite Maya actually breaking Larry's record of answering before my music could play. Yeah, she's not invited back.
I saw that.
Yeah, she's definitely not invited back for the daily play after that. How rude and disrespectful. She didn't let me play my music. You know what, actually? Okay, I played my music. We just did some reverse. You know what I'm saying? And then I pulled out another one and she got that right away too. You saw that?
I saw the first one.
Yeah.
The new music. Yeah.
So, just something else. Anyway, folks, please don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we continue to do our part to improve our community. Yes or no? Are you planning on attending the restaurant crawl with us in July? Let us know. Are you planning on attending? Yes or no? Tell you what, you all think that I eat like a rabbit. That's not true. I actually do like food. I like what I like. I just hope whatever restaurants we're going to have some good seafood options on the menu. But you never like. Do you like? Are you a eater, like foodie kind of person? Do you eat like?
I'm not a foodie. What I won't consider. I would say my wife is more of that. So through her, I've expanded my options.
Okay. It's broadening his horizons, folks.
Yeah. If it smells okay, I'll try it. If I don't like the smell, it's not happening.
Yeah, I'm like that with look and smell. If it don't look or smell appealing, I probably would avoid that food. So Michelle White's planning on joining us. She's family, man. Michelle came with us last year when we were at Huckleberry for a little get-together meet and greet with the TDH crew and TDH community. So we're looking forward to having you. Good morning to you, Connect Island Empress Burgess, and happy Friday to you as well, Tanya Cheeseman. As she says, happy Friday, Jamel, Larry, Maya. Have a good weekend. All right, so let's just jump right into today's discussion. So obviously, we don't want to discuss it. Maya doesn't want to report it, but unfortunately, as you know, you'll find out more in her news break. The police did name one of the victims of Bermuda's latest road fatality, and there's been a lot. I mean, had 5 in the last month, or probably the last 3 weeks, right?
Yeah.
And we had some questions up on our Instagram story yesterday, and let's get the conversation going. So the question basically is, and let me just jump in and say this, and I'll probably say it multiple times during this conversation. The question was, what do you believe contributes to the most road collisions on Bermuda's roads, and how do we fix it? Folks, you can't say all. We're saying most. Most means one more than the other. There's not a tie in this, unfortunately. What do you believe? Why is it important to answer this question and know? Because if we know that more things are causing something to happen, then we kind of work on fixing that, right? So the question of the morning is, what do you believe contributes to the most road collisions on Bermuda's roads, and how do we fix it? How do we fix it? How do we fix what's going on? We can guess. We can say that most road collisions are caused by maybe distracted driving. Maybe that's the truth, distracted driving. But then most road fatalities could be caused by speed. I just think whatever it is, there's a fix to this. The fix for distracted driving, it's really easy. Pay attention. The fix for speed, slow down. Nothing hard about that. What are your thoughts, though? What do you believe contributes to the most road collisions on Bermuda's roads, and how do we fix it? How do we fix this problem that we have?
Very, very interesting. Your comments. I agree and disagree. I don't want to get into my disagreement yet with you. But to answer the initial question, I think when we encompass all of them, all the accidents, I would have to say speed. Initially when you asked the question, I thought, or when I saw the question on Instagram, I was thinking fatalities, right?
Mhm.
And you have to throw, well, is it alcohol involved, or is it speed? But I think with most of the collisions, it's speed. I think where we have the trifecta, what you said, distracted driving, alcohol, and speed, or a combination of those three, that is just a recipe for
Mhm.
disaster. How do we fix it? I'm wondering if we're getting to that place of, I sometimes ask the question, is it fixable? Because what you gave just now, I agree with, but we're asking people to change behaviors. Are people's behavior so ingrained that it's not changing right now? Because they're watching things, they're seeing things, and behaviors aren't changing. So I just question: is it? It's not as easy as we kind of would like it to be, because obviously it would have happened. But how do we kind of force changing people's decision making? If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I think, and I again, I always say this as it related to conscription and people saying it was discipline for young men, and I would always say, but you don't train a dog, you train a puppy, right? So in reference to people already being set in their
Yeah.
way, it's
Okay.
like trying to learn a new language, right? It's much easier when you're young than it is as an adult, they say, right? Your
Yeah.
mind's still like a sponge. So I do agree with you on that. It's tough, but I don't think we can wash our hands and just accept that, you know what, there's nothing we can do. Someone said, and let's just go through, let me just share the poll numbers. So we asked the question, what's to blame for most road collisions in Bermuda? And we had 55%, over 100 people so far, 55% said speed. 55% said speed. 28% said alcohol. 5% said road conditions, which is good because people understand we can't blame if you know the road conditions are bad, you pay more attention, and you drive slower. So
Yeah.
it's no excuse. And then, unless there's obviously just holes in the road where you can't avoid. And 12% said other, and I'm happy with the other because we didn't have inattention. And I'll just share with you what I do know, and I think Maya may have confirmed this. To share that some of what I said wasn't actually my opinion. So the main cause of road traffic collisions is actually inattention.
Okay.
So it is inattention. However, stick with me now. The main cause of fatal road traffic collisions are driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs and speeding. So that's I don't know what
combination. Yeah.
So I don't know what the exact numbers are, but that's the information that we received from the authorities. But with that information, folks, look, I caught myself. I'm just gonna be honest. I caught myself going 75 yesterday on 95 and 65, right? But I wasn't speeding. I guess we got 10 miles per hour grace. And I saw people coming across me. And I'm like, well, if I'm going 75, how fast are they going?
Yeah.
And people wonder why I have a dash cam. People ask me all the time. And I said, because the things that I see, if something happens to me, my story will be told. I don't see, and maybe I've been told that I rush through life, and I'm always quick to do stuff. I don't really. One thing I will do is take my time on the roads. If not for me, for others. So, audience, the question is, what do you believe contributes to the most road collisions on Bermuda's roads, and how do we fix it? So, Sean DeShield says excessive speeding. Michelle White says speed kills. Connect Island Empress Burgess says, I agree with what you just said, Jamal. Distracted for collisions and speed/ignorant driving for deaths. Tanya Cheeseman says, do care, working cameras that are actually monitored to carry out accountability of person. Michelle White says, unfortunately, we cannot legislate our way to change behavior. I agree. I think that's the point Larry was making earlier.
Yeah.
Maybe uncover the background behind the why, then address those answers. And I think she's saying something, because we don't connect trauma with people's behaviors on the roads. We don't know. Like, somebody could be just naturally happy to get out of their house and driving crazy to get where they want to go.
Yeah, could be the addiction to speed.
There you go. That's another something that we may just don't consider. Sean DeShield says the pathetic road conditions don't help either. Well, let's talk about that, because only 5% of the people said that. Right? Only 5% of the people said that.
Yeah, I would throw that in with in a combination with stuff, because yes, I do. I love the way how he put it, the pathetic conditions of the road, because they're really bad. But I think if you're doing a reasonable speed sober, you can navigate it for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
But at speed, with those conditions, it's not going to help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I'm with you. I get it. I just remember riding back in February, and I wouldn't say I ride so slow, but I ride slow enough because I don't ride them regularly, so I don't know where's a pothole, what's happening. So I take that extra. There's precautions.
Yeah.
I would say if I was speeding, I would have been in trouble. So if we know, Sean, that the road conditions are poor, then we have to make smarter decisions while we're on the roads. That's it.
Yeah. Something that we haven't kind of mentioned, and I was talking to a friend and they brought it up and it made me think, is, are our roads too populated? Do we have too many vehicles on these roads where it's just not sustainable during certain periods? You know what I mean? Obviously, if it's middle of the night and we have those accidents, that's different. But it's just a lot more traffic on the road than when you and I went 16.
Well, I thought that was a problem maybe in 2007 to 10, but I don't have actual numbers, but Bermuda's lost so many people. I think there's actually less traffic in the last 10 years than it was before. I thought it was a problem back then, though. I remember I was working in radio in Bermuda. I was like, oh, there's way too much traffic on the road. I mean, Sundays growing up, unless you were going church, cricket game, or football game, there was really no traffic on the road back then. And then
That's a
2007
fact.
to 10, it was like packed. Like it was just it became crazy to me at least. And I obviously not being in Bermuda full time, I don't see the impact now, but I just know that we've lost so many people. I wonder if they keep statistics of that, how many registered vehicles, mind you, some people out there riding dirty, but how many registered vehicles there are. But I want to switch gears because we did have another question. And this one was very interesting. Should insurance companies have access to traffic offense information and charge higher premiums to those found guilty of driving whilst impaired? What are your thoughts on that, folks? Because this is interesting. This is an interesting one. Should insurance companies have access to traffic offense information and charge higher premiums to those found guilty of driving whilst impaired? What are your thoughts on that?
I am torn. I must say, I am torn. I would have to kind of read into it. I would like to see if that's done in other jurisdictions first before, I can make a hard line decision. I think in an ideal sense, we could say yes and whatnot, but I still think it comes down to behaviors and will it affect people because, I know sometimes if you're not able to get insured and you have the vehicle, some people are still going to pick the vehicle up and use it. You know what I mean? That happens regularly today. So I think it's something that they can look into. It's something outside the box. I thought if if you get an accident, your premium will go up. We're saying that we want access to. I think it's something they may have to look at, but I'm very cautious of the punitive approach. I think some more things have to be done, but I don't want it to just be in the area of consequence, rather education or change of habits. If you in that area more so.
I think there could be the opposite effect of and so I know we've talked about this before, and some people have said some companies do this, but rather than why not reward good drivers as well? So reward good drivers and punish bad ones. But we asked the question on our Instagram stories, should insurance companies have access to traffic offense information and charge higher premiums to those found guilty of driving whilst impaired? And 87% of the respondents said yes, they should have access. 87% said yes, which I found interesting because I thought more people would have responded no, only because of privacy,
So that's the only lines of where I was thinking.
Yeah. I thought more people would have said no because of privacy. But one thing I realized is when people are fed up, people are willing to give up their rights to solve.
And I'm not. Like I regularly would say it's in an ideal situation, but if used in a different way later on down the road, can it be exploited? And I just don't know how I feel. Something don't sit right with Ian with that. I get it and I get why, and I get why people will say that, but something with Ian just doesn't have me 100% on board with it.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, audience? Let us know. Let us know your thoughts on this, because this is an interesting one. Something, again, I'm with Larry, doesn't sit right with me, but should insurance companies have access to traffic offense information and charge higher premiums to those found guilty of driving whilst impaired? Now, let's be honest. For years, people have said that, well, the so-called stop list, they get their information from the news, right? Now, if insurance companies actually, took it from the news, then that's not them like having special access with the police and so on. So I would be okay with that. But something about, I don't know, it's a thin line. It's a thin line, and it reminds me of when we've had numerous police officers on this show and people are saying, well, why you just, who the gangs are, why can't you just go bang them down? And they're like, well, you can't violate people's rights in the process of trying to get justice, And I know some people like, what? We know who's doing it. Folks, at the end of the day, and this is a true story, whether we like it or not, there have been a lot of innocent people convicted of crimes the world over. You can't go just charging people all willy-nilly and raiding homes and then apologizing to them afterwards. That it just doesn't work like that. It's not good. It's not healthy. So what are your thoughts? Again, second question of the morning is pretty much one of privacy, but should insurance companies have access to traffic offense information and charge higher premiums to those who are found guilty of driving whilst impaired? What are your thoughts? Traveling Trotty says no. That's a no. I think I agree.
Why? What about, because where does it stop? Impaired. What about speeding? What about due care?
Right.
You got what I'm saying? Then it's well, it's one group policed heavier than another group. I think it opens such a huge can of worms. But it's interesting. I think these are the conversations we have to have though, because something has to give.
Yeah, indeed. Sam Cat Place disagrees. She says yes. She says yes. Insurance companies should have access to traffic information and charge higher premiums to those who have been found guilty of driving whilst impaired. She says yes. Sean DeShield says charging higher premiums might not be an effective approach, as many of the speeding offenders are uninsured. There you go. And I mentioned that not long ago, like,
especially bikes, like, guys, as guys, you know how to fix a, well, you know something about a bike, or you know who to get to fix a bike. So you can have a bike running. The risk of making a nip to the shop real fast, you can easily done that. I've done it before when I was young. Rode a bike uninsured for about 4 months. And I don't know. I wasn't thinking about the premium. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mark Arthur C. Phillips says, I once heard that our roads were initially designed for horse and carriage, not cars. That's interesting. And that would make sense, right?
Okay.
We've had cars for so long, you would think they would, update the asphalt or something, right? Sean DeShield says, driving behaviors by younger people have significantly deteriorated, and this problem will only get worse before it gets better. Well, I hope not. I really hope not. Sam Cat Place says, if you are careful, you won't have to worry about it now, would you? But it's not about us. It's the overall picture, Sam Cat Place. It's the overall person's rights. Like, I know I'm not out there, businessing with the wrong people, right? But just because someone sits off on a wall in their neighborhood and they may not be involved in anything, but just because they're seen and their house gets raided, that's not right. So there still has to be some level of respect of people's privacy and human rights. I'm telling you, it gets very sticky if you start to tread. We have to tread carefully.
Yeah,
we have to tread very carefully with that.
I would agree. And we're not looking at we have to look at worst case scenario when we put forth things, because now we're talking about legislation and who has access to information. And right now, with the Privacy Acts in so many different areas, that would have to be obviously a consideration when going through that. And I think it would be probably the biggest hiccup for something like this not being able to take place.
Yeah, indeed. Well, let's bring Maya in. I know she's done quite a few polls over the last few days, and a lot of information, people writing some stuff. So I'm sure she has something to add from the Media Maya audience. So folks, don't go anywhere. It is Ask the Doctor today. We're talking with Dr. Amani Flood, and we're talking about solutions to long COVID. So you don't want to miss this conversation with Dr. Flood after the news break. Stick with us.
Good morning.
That sounded like a drum roll. Greetings to you. How are you?
Doing well.
We love to hear it. So obviously we've been talking about a couple of things, as you see down the bottom of this screen scrolling. The whole whether people who are convicted of driving while impaired should be charged a higher premium. And earlier speaking about, what do we believe is causing most collisions, and then what's the fix to it? I know you are very passionate about this, Maya. You've probably sent more positive messages about using our roads than anyone else on this show. But I don't like talking about this. I honestly don't. It reminds me of COVID. Like, we were talking about COVID so much. But unfortunately, it's not about what I like. It's not about what either of us like. It's about conversations that need to be had amongst us all that are going to help improve our community, right? So anything to share on any of this?
Well, in your last conversation, you mentioned like, well, why do people speed? Now, I remember going to, it was this meeting that I believe the Bermuda Road Safety Council had held and put together. It must have been like 2 years ago at this point. And a bunch of family members who they've lost loved ones on the road to were present there. So I was there, my aunt was there, and everyone in the room was everyone was Black, except for one woman whose daughter had recently died. And she's the one who actually mentioned it. And that was quite, like, I didn't even notice it at first, but the fact that anyone could show up, like, you didn't have to be personally affected, though I think everyone on the island is personally affected by every single road collision. But anyone was welcome to show up. The majority of Black people, except for the one white lady that, spoke up about that and how, like, where is everyone? Where is everyone that needs to be here and should be here and should be distraught and upset about all our road deaths, like all of us are? And in that conversation, there was a discussion about, like, well, the reason for speeding, I think a lot of them had different conversations with different people, that it's like a joy thing as well. It's a thrill. It's something that, what's that thing that people feed off of? But like
adrenaline.
Yeah, it's an adrenaline. And that was one of the things that we discussed a lot. I remember in that room about, like, just the reasons as to why, like, speeding is such a thing in Bermuda. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that 2 cents in. I think for some people it is an adrenaline thing, and it's not even the fact that they just don't care. It's just they want to feel that rush.
Yeah. And I remember when I was young, and they say, well, go down Coney Island. That's where, they used to scramble and stuff. And, now I guess they're South Side, but there are places to do this in Bermuda. There are places you can go and have that thrill. You can do it without putting others at risk. But unfortunately, that's part of the thrill, right? For the putting other people at risk. It's unfortunate. Yeah.
I did do some polls on me. I don't have them up to show you guys, but I can mention them from right here looking at my stats, because one of the questions that were asked from someone who typed in was like, stop announcing where the DUI checkpoints will be. And a lot of people agree that the police shouldn't be announcing when they're going to be out there doing the road sobriety checkpoints. 63% said, yeah, please stop announcing it. And 37% said, keep announcing it though. Because at the end of the day, police aren't trying to, like, get you. They want to inform you so you can make smart decisions. But people are saying, don't even give them the chance, anyone who's doing it.
We've had that conversation on this show many times, and I still stand by, the whole point is not to criminalize people. The point of it is to change behavior. It's really to encourage change behavior. Now, I know people are like, well, if you tell them where you're going to be, they're just going to be elsewhere. That is changing their behavior. It's just not changing, the desired result, right? I think as a community, again, I'm just going to go back to what we were saying earlier when Sam Cat Place responded. We have to tread cautiously. We have to tread very cautiously with stuff when we're thinking about, don't tell them and, let's violate rights and do this and that. It's a very thin line, and we cannot, we can't legislate sense and behaviors. It's like love. We can't legislate love. We can put in the policies and laws that help create the perspective or opportunities to love and to behave differently, but we can't necessarily legislate it. So it's interesting.
And to jump on your that point, I think we as a community probably could benefit from a higher police presence on the road. I myself just don't want to see it with a punitive approach where we're going out, we need to give tickets, we need to do this. Sometimes they pull over and have a, hey, look, distracted driving causes most roads. That's next time I see you, like, get more of a conversation, a community movement going, rather than we need more police and to do this to just come with this harsher approach.
Mhm.
Will it happen? The more police that's out there, you will get more infractions and things will happen. Yes, but it cannot be just the punitive approach.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed.
Now, before I head into the news, I do want to read this one comment that was actually sent through, and the audience, you can say if you agree or disagree with it. But someone said, and I'll read it word for word, I really feel like the main issue of Bermuda's roads is drunk driving. The Bermuda government offers no feasible alternative to drunk driving in a lot of ways. Example, offering people other options is a lot more effective than punishment. I would like to see a reliable entire island transit system for Bermuda, trans or trams, separate tracks for motor traffic so they're on time, efficient, running all hours of the day. Eventually, I would like to see Bermuda ban all motor traffic and run completely on high quality public transit. There's no reason such a small island should be so car dependent. Now, 19% of people said, I agree with everything this person said. 54% said, I agree with most of it. And 27% said, I disagree entirely.
I think I'm in that 54%.
Agree with most of it.
I would
I agree with a good bit of it.
I
no
Is
cars.
it doable? I don't know, but yeah, I like it.
I agree with it 100%. I disagree 100% that it'll ever happen because it's just not feasible.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I mean, I love it. I'm like, yeah, it makes sense, but
Yeah.
it ain't gonna happen. And I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer, but your
The
government,
resources. Yeah.
your government's broke. We're not China. China could do that in a day if they felt like that was a better option. So yeah, I love the suggestion. Yeah.
All right, well, let me head into the news break. Good morning, everyone. This is the Daily Hour News Break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Starting out the news, we spoke about it a little bit. Devastating news to begin with, but the Bermuda Police Service can now confirm the death of 17-year-old Michael Spence Durant. He's Bermuda's 9th road fatality of 2023, and the police extends their sincere condolences to the family and the friends. It is now believed that Mr. Spence Durant was seriously hurt when the motorcycle he was riding at a dockyard along Malabar Road, Sands Parish, struck a concrete bench in a grassy area near the junction with Hayden Road around 3:37 a.m. Tuesday morning, the 20th of June. He was conveyed to the Port Royal Fire Station in a private vehicle for medical treatment before being rushed to the hospital via ambulance. However, despite all life-saving efforts, the teen understood to be a part of the Warwick Parish resident was pronounced dead later Tuesday morning.
Very, very sad. 17 years old. Man.
17.
Condolences to the family, friends, and community.
The police also asked that, in particular, persons who were traveling along Malabar Road, Sands Parish, near Hayden Road at around that same time of the fatal collision, of those who may have witnessed, to please assist and urge to come forward.
Dash cam cameras, please, if you can help, get that info in.
If you can, yep. And the Bermuda Road Safety Council also extends its heartfelt condolences to the families affected by the recent tragic road fatalities in Bermuda in the last weeks. They say since 1997, Bermuda has witnessed a loss of over 200 precious lives on the roads. Unfortunately, news of road fatalities has become distressingly complacent, and we must not allow ourselves to grow desensitized. They moved on to say that the Bermuda Road Safety Council recognizes that changing behaviors at the individual level must be accompanied by three approaches to modify behavior, namely education and awareness, enforcement, and penalties.
Right.
Now, I know we talked about this last week, but the Cabinet Office advised today that a book of condolences will be available for the members of the public to sign in tribute to the late Honorable Simmons, former president of the Bermuda Industrial Union and member of the House of Assembly. The book is available today from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Yes, today's the 23rd of June. Yes, sorry. Available today from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Cabinet Office, and again on Saturday from 6 p.m. to 7:30 at the Victor Scott School.
Yeah, Brother Audie, thank you. I mean, he was one of the first names I knew in Bermuda in terms of activism. So great life lived and a lot of service. Definitely.
Moving on to the next news here. The Minister of Tourism and the Cabinet Office, Vance Campbell, presented Her Excellency the Governor, Ms. Rina Lauji, with a framed portrait of the Bermuda Post Office's latest commemorative stamp, The frame image depicts His Majesty King Charles III. As the public will recall, King Charles III was crowned on May 6th. This was the first coronation in the UK in nearly 70 years. In honor of the occasion, the Bermuda Post Office commissioned a commemorative stamp series. The special edition stamps are now available at the prices of $6 and $7 for the first day covers.
Let me send you a letter, Jamal, so you can get your stamp.
Yeah, I guess. Whatever.
Well, in some more exciting news that people might remember and are excited to have back, but the Department of Parks presents Movies in the Park, an unforgettable summer experience for all. The Honorable David Burt said about the return of the initiative to screen films inside the public parks. We are thrilled to launch the Movies in the Park initiatives, providing families and individuals with an unforgettable experience that is also free of charge. This series aims to unite the community and create lasting memories and provide entertainment for families and individuals during the warmer months. Starting on Saturday, the 8th of July, Movies in the Park will showcase carefully curated selections of blockbuster films that promise to entertain audiences of all ages. This series of 4 events will culminate with a final on Saturday, the 7th of October.
All righty.
Good stuff. Check that out.
Yeah.
I love Movies in the Park growing up. I remember when it happened. And when it stopped, I thought, like, was that a dream or was that real?
Oh. Okay.
You guys never did Movies in the Park?
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
But I think I'm gonna take my son and this summer. That's on my list.
It's definitely a cool memory for me. I remember the ones on Shelly Bay way back when. Very cool memory for me and my family. Well, going into sports, the women's beach volleyball team, as I mentioned yesterday, they're going to have a game at the CAC games. Well, their opponents never showed up, so they ended up winning and gaining the points. So go them, and they were moving up to the next round.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw that. Normally you don't get if you get a DNF or a DNS, did not start. You kind of have an inkling. I think it just seemed like they was waiting around and the individuals never showed up. It's kind of a bit different.
Yeah, look, if you see these stats here, this is what it says officially. The second lot is what the game is, DNS, and then Bermuda has a line there. But the Bermuda Olympic Association said that they did get the 2 points, but we'll keep our eyes on the official list here and see how the points move up. But it says they moved up.
How are we looking in the Special Olympics?
Special Olympics, I know we gained another bronze medal in the shot put the other day. Apologies, I can't recall the name, but I know we gained another medal in the shot put in bronze the other day.
Yeah, I saw one in Berlin. I think it's one in swimming. I just had the updates for some of the coaches and parents that's there on my social media, so it's nice to see it, and I hope they continue to keep pushing forward.
Yes, I'll have a full report on Monday morning with all of our medals and winners so far.
Yeah, Charles said I saw we also got a gold. There you go.
Oh,
all right.
Well done.
Well, like Maya will have more on Monday. Let's do it.
All right. Closing out with the weather this morning, it's going to be clouds and a few showers, but hopefully a drier and sunnier afternoon, it says. And we got a high of 82 degrees Fahrenheit. So summer is somewhere.
All righty. It's getting there. What you got for days of the year, Bert?
Today is International Women in Engineering Day. Donate to the cause, help spread awareness about the amazing opportunities for girls who might have an interest in pursuing a career in engineering.
All righty. What was that movie, the ladies at NASA, that made a big difference?
Yeah.
I know it.
See, I do watch some movies, folks. I watched that.
It's one that I want to watch. Yes, it's a blockbuster list of Black female actresses. So yeah.
Real quickly, just something new I'm going to be doing on the show. So on this day in history, June 23rd, in 930, the world's oldest parliament, the Icelandic parliament, is established. Did you know that? 930. That's. I mean, Sherry wasn't even living back then. What else we've got? Man, there's a lot of things that happened this day in history. I don't want to bring it to the 1900s.
You said the longest parliament was?
Yeah, in 930, the world's oldest parliament, the Icelandic parliament, was established. Yeah.
I mean, it's the second oldest, isn't it? Over 400 years? No, not parliament, but
in the West, we're the first a lot. In the West, hence all the St. Peter's Church and stuff. So what else we got? This stuff's pretty boring because it's mainly US stuff, but yeah, it's some baseball stuff and so on. But this is interesting on this day in history. So, folks, we'll be sharing some stuff going forward, letting you know what the special days mean. Maya, thank you so much. And Hidden Figures. Everyone's saying it. Hidden Figures.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
was so excited, but I didn't want to be looking down.
Aaron and Sherry. Thank you, Aaron and Sherry. Maya, we'll see you. You have a wonderful weekend.
You too, guys. Have
All
a great
right,
chat.
Maya Palacio, we've got Dr. Amani Flood coming up, talking about long COVID. Folks, please share the link. Get your friends and family on board. We're talking about our health and our wellness today. Take this quick break. And Sherry heard that old joke you made about her, bro. She heard
I made about it.
Yeah. Sherry, I keep telling them, talk about my sister, Sherry. We'll be right back.
Let's face it, life can be a little wild, but shopping doesn't have to be. I choose People's, so that whether it's a prescription that needs to be filled, a toy for my little terror, or a gift for a new addition to the family, we'll see about that. Everything's available in one convenient location. Some call it People's, I call it my one-stop shop in the city. People's, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's next.
Mom's celebrating her 70th birthday next month. Have you noticed her age is catching up with her?
Yeah. Plus, she's having a hard time getting up and around like she's used to. I would sure hate to see her fall.
At Medical House Limited, we can help make life situations easier. We have electric beds, motorized scooters, bath stools, walkers, you name it.
Mom's been real good to us. We'll get her birthday and Christmas gifts from Medical House.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dandytown Field, number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke. Telephone 292-3622.
Welcome back to the Big Show. Larry Marshall Jr. I am Jamel Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Folks, don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com, and follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Again, if you haven't already, make sure you're registered. You want to get those invites. Obviously, TDH community members will get first right of refusal for the restaurant crawl happening next month. It's time for our guest today. We've got Dr. Amani Flood coming up. Dr. Flood, do us one favor before we bring you on. The way Larry and I are sitting, you want to make sure you've got enough headspace and make sure that you're sitting directly center like us. We're talking about long COVID today. This is something that I just went on social media recently, and I saw at North Shore Medical, they were helping people out with IVs and so on. I don't understand it. I even after Googling sometimes, you know how you read something, Larry, and you're like, okay, well, Google tells me what something is, but I still don't kind of quite comprehend what it's saying. So that's why we bring the experts in, folks. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to ask. But for now, let's give a warm TDH welcome to Dr. Amani Flood. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Morning.
Always a pleasure.
It's always a pleasure having you. Honestly, I speak highly of you, of going through some things you've helped with my family and so on. So I have a lot of trust and appreciation and respect for you and what you do.
Thank you for that.
No, thank you for what you do. So let's just get right into it. So I obviously try to read about a lot of things, especially when we have guests coming on the show. I want to understand as much as I can. I'm not the smartest cookie in the jar. I'm not.
You are too.
But I try to comprehend things. But just in the most layman terms, just explain what long COVID actually is.
Wonderful. That's a perfect place to start. Hello, everybody. It's such a pleasure to be able to come on the show and bring some health education to the Bermuda community. So, COVID-19 has affected us profoundly and continues to affect us well beyond the pandemic stage. And we are now in more of an endemic stage, meaning that COVID is here to stay. It's with us. It's going to be a part of our lives from now on. And it's really important that we learn as much about it as we can so that we can have the safest and best experience with COVID-19 as we go forward. So, long COVID is a relatively new understanding of the prolonged effects of COVID-19, well beyond the acute phase, or that phase when you were known to be sick and tested positive and had all these flu-like symptoms, wherever on the scale your symptoms fell from mild to severe. And then you may have recovered and thought to yourself, all right, I'm well and life goes on. But suddenly you began to re-experience some of the symptoms of COVID. And then you have those who never really came completely out of the woods. So there's something called the International Classification of Diseases, and it's used in medicine to stratify and compartmentalize illnesses according to their symptom picture and et cetera, health history. And there is now it's called an ICD code. So there is now an actual code for post-acute sequelae of COVID, as it's called, and meaning long COVID, or the continual experience of COVID symptoms well past the acute phase, or the initial diagnosis. So it's internationally recognized, and that gives it validity. It is a valid condition. So people should not feel afraid or ashamed to discuss this with their medical care provider.
Okay. And just with that said, how can one determine, and this goes back to just COVID versus the flu as well, right? Like, how can we determine whether it's a regular illness or long COVID we're dealing with? What are the differences in symptoms?
That's a really good question, and the lines are quite blurred, to be honest. I attended a conference a couple of months ago in April that was held in Dallas under the sponsorship of a local organization. And I learned a lot about long COVID and its treatment and how it's diagnosed. Normally, with diagnoses, medical professionals, doctors have a list of symptoms, and if you meet many of them or most of them or one of them or two of them, whatever the conditions are, that is your diagnosis. Okay, so we know that diabetes is diagnosed by testing glucose, and we know that heart disease can be diagnosed by checking the functions of the heart. When it comes to long COVID, even though it is a recognized condition, health condition, with a variety of different symptom pictures, there is still not a clear and concise list of experiences or symptoms that a person might have. But think of it in terms of, have you ever gone through this before? How near to your COVID illness experience did these symptoms arise, or have they continued? Many people have had the flu, and some of the symptoms of COVID and long COVID are going to mimic the flu. After all, we all have learned that it is a coronavirus, and the coronavirus is responsible for flu-like and common cold-like symptoms. So, it's really a very individual. What someone may be going through is very subjective. Sometimes these subjective kinds of conditions are hard to explain to people. And the symptoms are really, really broad and varied, from the tip of the head to the bottom of the feet. There can be brain fog that you never experienced before. There can be memory loss, insomnia. There can be ringing in the ears, and these things can be caused by other conditions as well. So it's always the healthcare professional's job to use their experience and the story that you're giving them about your own health history to tease out whether or not these things could be, these symptoms could be caused by something else, or whether they seem to be related to, someone's COVID experience.
Okay. So, Dr. Flood, what can someone who is experiencing the effect of long COVID do?
Right. So, use your healthcare service providers, whomever they may be. It's important to have diagnoses. We hear your health history, number one. We know your health, your past medical health history, number two. This would be your ongoing healthcare provider, right? And then we can use some common tests. There are also some very unique tests. One thing that we use here in North Shore Medical more and more frequently is something called a DIM. Oh gosh, there it goes. My own brain fog. It's a coagulation panel that helps us determine the status of people that may be having clotting, which is one of the results of long COVID. And also COVID vaccine injuries. The symptoms can also overlap with COVID vaccine injuries as well. We just want to look at your blood cells and see what's going on. Do you have some markers for inflammation, for example? Have your health lab results changed dramatically since you had COVID as compared to where they were before? So it is something that you can help yourself do with the help of Dr. Google. Which we all have a degree in by now.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it is something that you should work with your health professional on. And if your own healthcare provider is not able or willing to venture into the issue of long COVID and these symptoms that you're having, then find someone who is, right? There are a number of providers on the island, including ourselves, who do help patients manage long COVID. And if they visit the FLCCC, that is the Frontline COVID Critical Care Alliance website, they actually have a list of providers, including local providers and perhaps even online providers if someone feels so compelled. To find someone who can help them go through. Because to be honest, what a lot of people are experiencing that I'm hearing with their local practitioners, that they're not believed, it's all in your head, maybe you really just need an antidepressant. Perhaps we should submit you for a psychological analysis. And that's just really unfair, in my opinion. People's health stories should be believed, in my opinion, until you prove it otherwise, not the other way around. They should not have to prove to you, that they're having a physical experience or a cognitive experience just because you can't experience it yourself as their provider.
Agree.
Yeah. Okay. So having said that, what can people do to avoid long COVID?
Now, that is an excellent question because I am a preventive medicine doctor. For one thing, take COVID seriously. That doesn't mean get frightened and start thinking that it's the end. But if you are having some symptoms that may be related to COVID, you can still do a home test quite simply. You can also still get a PCR test. And so even though people may not be having severe acute symptoms now because COVID has evolved or devolved into a much milder disease for the most part. For the most part, folks, don't come and say, Dr. Flood said this is not a real disease. Yes, it is a real condition. It is a real infection with a real virus. However, get diagnosed early because early treatment, whatever your treatment method may be, and I'm one who is an advocate of the use of safe and natural treatments, you want to go ahead and get a handle on this invading virus that has now, entered your body and is trying to have its way with your immune system. So you want your own immune system to be robust, tuned up, and ready to fight back. You want to address it early before it has a chance. Viruses replicate really fast. They have a very short lifespan and turnover time. So, stop it in its tracks before it has a chance, because when it becomes widespread in the body, what we have learned is that it can actually cloak itself in your own body tissues. That virus can hide in your liver, in your spleen, in any of your organs. And like most viruses, they are simply kept in check by your immune system, and they can break out and go and wreak havoc once again when your resistance is down. So get early testing, even home testing. Seek out early treatments, have your immune system tuned up, and also, just take care of your health in a general sense, right? We believe in having the healthiest possible diet, manage your own other symptom diseases that you have. If you have diabetes, if you have hypertension, if you're a cancer survivor, make sure that you continue to manage those kinds of conditions as well.
All right, folks, if you have any questions or comments for Dr. Flood, please send them in. This is Ask the Doctor, brought to you by NMAC, so she is here to answer your questions about long COVID today. Michelle White's asking, Doctor, how and why does COVID cause an increase in immunity-related diseases such as hyperthyroidism?
That's a good question. You've really put me on a pedestal, haven't you? um, COVID and the SARS virus 2 are not well understood as to how they behave in the human population because studies have not been done. In my opinion, the way the whole thing has unfolded before us is just phenomenally insufficient. And so, without a lot of good studies as to what is this thing, there's still no good consensus over where it came from. But I join those who believe that it is a genetically modified man-made spike protein, which was then attached to a known coronavirus particle. And somehow it got into the world and into our population. So it behaves differently from naturally occurring illnesses. And it's extremely apparently resistant to, sort of being destroyed, I guess you would have to say. So we just don't have enough information to know. The conference was excellent. It was an excellent start. If anyone wants to learn a lot more about it, you can actually log on to the FLCCC website, and you can actually hear the same presentations that we heard who were there in person for a very, very nominal fee. It is technical, but just go ahead and listen carefully, take a few notes, go ahead and do your outside research. And some of the presentations were actually quite clear and easy to understand. This illness affects our human body in very strange and different ways. There are syndromes where persons who have had remission of their disease, that disease reoccurs. I'm not the one to say why. That's a little bit above my pay scale, but I can say that it is apparently occurring according to the testimonies of these doctors who have experienced this with their patients. Cancers are reoccurring. They have come up with a term called turbo cancers, where they appear fast and furious, where people may have been in remission for a while. So between the actual illness and the vaccine, which has also caused a lot of havoc in the lives of some people through injury, it's still a bit mysterious, but the information is unfolding. And myself and some other doctors who are interested in staying on top of what's happening, we have a little bit of a hard time digging out information. And then on the other hand, there are a lot of sources of information online, many of which have been are being shut down just because of discussing this topic in an open and honest way. So.
Yeah,
Bit of a challenge, yes.
I see.
Interesting times.
Yeah. Again, questions, comments, please send them through. We'll get through as many as possible. Misha Fabulous says, are you aware of any research correlating long COVID with cognitive decline, more specifically hand-eye coordination or reduced risk aversion?
That's really another good question. Am I aware of any research studies? No, not personally, but I would not be surprised to learn that some studies are either in the works or have been rolled out. So try the National Institute of Health website and then literally Google those words, research on cognitive decline in SARS-CoV-2, and see what you can come up with. We absolutely have testimonies from patients and healthcare providers of experiences of cognitive decline. So, that's a specific one, risk aversion and etc. Those are going to be a little harder to tease out, but cognitive decline is cognitive decline and could result in many forms of differential behaviors.
Okay. Shika Reyna, she says, I know at least 3 people who have had their inflammatory diseases under control for decades, and after having COVID, now they have flared up again, and the normal prescriptions are not making a dent.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it. The same doctors who rolled out ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine and vitamins and minerals in the early treatment of COVID have some new protocols for the management of long COVID and COVID vaccine injuries. It's called the iRecover. That is the basis of our treatment plans here at North Shore Medical when we have patients who are suffering from the long-term effects, prolonged effects of COVID-19, whether it be through vaccine injury or through prolonged COVID. So one of them, for example, is the continued use of ivermectin in a low dose, and hydroxychloroquine and chloroquine and something called low-dose naltrexone, all of which manage inflammatory responses and et cetera. Now, please do not take this as medical advice. We are just discussing possibilities and options here. I am actually not even a prescribing medical practitioner. I have no prescribing rights. I simply advise. And my advice is talk it over with a doctor who has some experience with using these medications and who is one of the FLCCC providers, because we are constantly updating our education on this subject matter by following the FLCCC founders and the group of doctors and scientists who are working in this field.
All righty.
Okay.
Dr. Amani Flood. We've got one more. Michelle White asks, I understand that vitamins like D, etc., would have an impact on COVID. Could one request a full vitamin level test to see where they are so that they can boost to fight one's long COVID?
Yeah, that's a really good question too. Most doctors are willing to test your vitamin D levels, and vitamin D is a critical nutrient in the management of your immune system. There are also more extended vitamin and supplement analyses, and even an immune function panel that we offer here at North Shore Medical. So come on over, and it's possible that your major medical insurance may cover it. Otherwise, we'll be happy to help you have a payment plan and do whatever that we can to make that accessible to you.
All right.
We also offer IV therapies, right? IV nutritional therapies. We also offer a wide range of supplements and vitamins that are of the highest quality, purity, and potency. So they are superior to your common drugstore variety vitamins in that they have higher doses, which are what we call therapeutic dosing. These are applied when people have true proven deficiencies or when we are using vitamins and supplements to create some kind of a metabolic shift in the body. So we have to make sure that these products are safe for you, and we compare them to whatever prescription medications you may have and your health conditions, so that when we do make these recommendations, we make them, you can have some confidence that they're safe for you.
Wonderful. And yes, I've seen, as I was saying earlier, the IV treatments taking place on the social media, and it was like, wow, that looks.
It is absolutely excellent. When you receive IV nutrition through the intravenous route, it is almost 100% available to your body, as compared to when we take them orally and internally. They have to go through a digestive process, and particularly when people may have digestive health issues, you may be taking vitamins and not absorbing them and not getting the benefit from them. So let's get an assessment and get things rolling for everybody.
Nice.
All right, Dr. Flood, just remind people how they can get in touch with you and connect with you. And folks, don't go anywhere. When we come back, we're going to be doing a giveaway for NMAC, so you can go get checked out. But just remind them how they can get in contact.
We are located at 7 North Shore Road, between the Glebe Road and Dock Hill. We are open 6 days a week, and we provide a full range of healthcare and beauty services. I am the naturopathic doctor, along with my colleague, Dr. Catherine Dale, who you have also met. And we have colon hydrotherapy, we have IV nutrition, we have beauty products, body sculpting, hair products. I'm going to leave somebody out. We now have physical therapy, we have rheumatology, we have general medicine practice. And guess what? It's our 10-year anniversary. We are celebrating, and the community are invited to join us on July the 15th. That's a Saturday from noon to 4. We are going to have giveaways. We are going to have tours of our facility. We are going to have entertainment, speeches. We're going to bless our building. We're going to unveil a beautiful new mural. We're going to have food and drink. So please come on out, save the date, and we would really love to see all of our clients, all of our patients, as well as anyone in the community who just wants to come out and schmooze and have a good time with us.
This sounds like a good time's about to be had.
Hello. Our telephone number 293-5476. 293-5476. See you when you get here.
Flood, it is always a pleasure. Thank you so much. Honestly, your energy, the passion, the the communication with the audience, we appreciate it. Thank you so much. So
thank you again for having me.
Time. Thank you. Talk soon.
All right, talk soon. Bye-bye.
All right, folks, if you found that conversation with Dr. Amani Flood helpful, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Don't go anywhere. Congratulations to NMAC. 10 years, 10 years. And I know the NMAC story very well. So 10 years, congratulations. Well done. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to do a big giveaway, $100 giveaway for NMAC when we come back. So don't go anywhere. We'll wrap it up. Stick with us after these messages.
Ordering from ER Fisheries has just gotten simpler. With just a few clicks of a button, you can place an order for next-day delivery or same-day pickup. Our ever-expanding list of offerings now include grocery pantry items, specialty meats, and bread and dairy items. We know things have been hard, and we're here to make planning for your next meal or party easy. Whether you're a vegetarian or a meat eater, we have what you're looking for. And best of all, it can be delivered to your door in 24 hours or less. Go to www.erfisheries.bm and check out our wide range of seafood, beef, lamb, pork, poultry, fruits, vegetables, and plant-based products, all available at reasonable prices. That's www.erfisheries.bm.
All righty, welcome back. Thanks again to Dr. Amani Flood and NMAC for that Ask the Doctor segment. Hopefully you all found that helpful, and if you found it helpful, think it can help someone, enjoy the conversation and communication, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like on whatever platform you're tuned in on. We're going to do a giveaway for $100, a $100 gift card, so stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. But before that, it's thanks again to the BAC group of companies, Medicals, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we can have these conversations with you on a daily basis. It's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, novel available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. All right, it's the things you should know. Larry, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, audience, he may need your help. Here we go. Which planet is closest to the sun?
Mercury.
All righty. He didn't need your help. Audience. Yeah, he didn't need your help.
Mason's been learning about the planets, so to help refresh my.
Basically, your son gave you the answer.
No, it's just re-going over it with him. It helps you out.
Mason,
Pluto is no longer a planet.
Yeah, I heard about that, bro. But see, this is how they mess us up. Now you're a parent, you either sitting there arguing with me. Yes, it is, mate. No, daddy, that's not what the teacher said. And then you go read, man, my son was right. I was wrong.
It's a star.
Yeah.
They talk like that.
They teach them different things these days. But yeah, it's Mercury, folks. It is Mercury. We should have asked that question. How many planets is it? Because it was 8 when we were growing up, right? Or 9.
The number I would have to go through the.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Michelle. She just said, Michelle White, we love you. She just said, yes, Pluto is a dog too.
The joke of the day.
Yeah, that's the joke of the day. Let's wrap it up today. All right, and we'll do the giveaways. While we wrap it up, folks, you can hashtag the Daily Hour for today's $100 gift voucher courtesy of North Shore Medical and Aesthetic Center. So the Daily Hour, hashtag the Daily Hour for your chance to win $100. But let's wrap today up. Let's final thoughts, Larry, on obviously the roads and collisions, and then the conversation on long COVID with Dr. Amani Flood.
Yeah, I think with what's happening with the last 4 to 6 weeks, I think the community is kind of like, okay, well, I think we're at a place where things have to be done different. I like that we're having different types of conversations. Mm-hmm. I hope the decision makers are looking to have these same types of conversations. I think, we have these conversations so often that it keeps coming back to personal decisions. and how do we legislate it. However, I think things can come into place that can better assist Bermuda, and I'd like to see us get to that sooner rather than later. As far as long COVID, it seems so. It was a wealth of information that was given by Dr. Flood, but it's still so much that's unknown because of the newness of it. So again, as she just stated, I think we can echo the sentiments of get checked out, do the testing. If you need to get your vitamins test done, or IV situation that needs to happen for you, let's get it done. It's better to be preventative or get on top of things earlier than when it's out of control. So, I'm hopeful that everything goes well with her work and the research that she's doing also.
Yeah. As far as the roads, I just think everyone knows personal responsibility, but you're asking people who take no accountability to be responsible. That's a big ask. I truly think it's not going to be changed through legislation or punitive behaviors. It's going to be changed through education, consideration, and courtesy. Every person is loved by somebody. Believe that. And every person loves somebody. If we can get people who trust, love, and respect others to listen to those people, I think we'll be heading in the right direction. As far as Dr. Amani Flood, I appreciate the conversation. Again, you can Google all you want. Sometimes what you read, you just won't be able to comprehend. I'm happy these conversations happen because it gives us more perspective. And what I really like about Dr. Flood in particular is she will tell you, and folks, I'll repeat it. She's not a prescribing doctor. She's not telling you what to do. She's giving you advice, but it's not advice based on her being in a certain position. She's giving you advice from a preventative measure, what to do to prevent being in certain situations. So always apply with Ask the Doctor. Let's do the giveaway, and then we'll do the daily inspiration brought to you by ER Fisheries and Foods. Here we go. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? Let's hit that drum roll, please. Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? All righty. Sheikah Rayner, you are winner. Congratulations to you, Sheikah. $100 gift voucher to NMAC. Please send us an email at the earliest, Sheikah. Send us an email at engage@thedailyhour.com, and we'll put you in touch with the great folks at NMAC. And thank you all for your contribution this morning. Bert, you got any daily inspiration for them?
I do. And our inspiration is brought to our daily inspiration is brought to us by ER Fisheries, and it's from Pele, arguably the greatest footballer of all time. The more difficult the victory, the greater the happiness in winning.
Yeah, I appreciate that one. Pele, we lost him at the end of 2022. Folks, please don't forget to subscribe on our website and follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy, for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you on Monday. He's Larry Marshall Jr. I'm Jamal Hartman. Please do make it a safe and a great weekend. We are out. Peace.